here with, again, another video. Obviously, name is right below this video or above, depending on if you're watching this in the future. I don't know if YouTube's going to change their mind, because they normally change it a lot. It used to be above the video, now it's below the video. I don't know, YouTube does some weird stuff. But this video is going to be a video that you guys have recommended to me many times. One of the concepts you guys have wanted to hear about, or topics you guys have wanted to hear about, is, you know, Evan, what is it like driving a Subaru as a daily car? You know, what's it like driving from point A to point B? You know, is it nice? Is it enjoyable? Does it ride well? Stuff like that. You know, also common question is, does the rumble get tiring? Is it a smooth ride? How's the mileage? Stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and cover some of those topics for you guys. Hey, a freaking huge Hummer just waved at me. That's funny. Anyways, so just in general, my thing is, how is it driving a Subaru every single day, everywhere you go? Well, my description would be like, you know, I think it's like riding on the back of a fleet of angels while they're blowing their trumpets and feeding you pizza and Twinkies. So you get fat and happy. You get fat and happy driving a Subaru. Not really. It's actually, it's nowhere like that. It's nowhere like that at all. But it's pretty cool. I myself enjoy it. Now, in this video, you'll hear a bunch of opinions. I'm entitled to my own opinion. I personally, I love driving a Subaru everywhere I go. Does the rumble ever get annoying? Not at all. Not to me. Does the car ride well? Okay, here's what I have to take into consideration. The car's stock suspension, now the STI obviously has a little bit better suspension than the WRX, but I've ridden in both actually. I don't mind the suspension whatsoever, and as most of you guys know, if you're subscribed to me, and you have been for a while, I have very stiff coilovers, so I kind of like the feel of feeling every bug you squish and every pebble you run over in the road. That doesn't bother me. It feels kind of like a race car. And I don't mind the loud exhaust, as you guys have known, even in some of the cars I've had before this. I've had loud exhausts, you know. I like pissing people off. I honestly really like having a loud car. I like being able to hear the car. I like being able to drive based off of listening to the motor. And I love the sound of my Subaru. It's funny, actually, I'm getting unequal length headers again instead of the equal length, just so I can go back to having that Subaru rumble, because I love it that much. And it's really something, if you don't like the Subaru's rumble, then don't get the Subaru. You know, if you just want something that's fast, but you still want the 4-cylinder car, get an Evo. Don't buy a Subaru, because the Subaru is not going to get you as fast as an Evo. It's just a lot more fun to drive. In my opinion, I like the all-wheel drive system a lot better. And fact-based, it's better performing as well. And I love the cornering of this car as well. It just feels so natural. One thing most people comment on whenever they do ride in my car, whether it be family, friends, family of friends, anybody who sits in my car, one of the first things they ever tell me is, wow, this car is actually really comfortable, which it is. Funny thing is I assume whenever they started making STIs in America, they assumed we were going to become fat. So the seats actually don't grip you very well, and I've heard that in many different reviews. The seats don't grip you very well, but the thing is, they're very comfortable bucket seats. It's a very comfortable car to ride in. The seat is comfortable. There's a lot of adjustments. Now the thing is, it's not anywhere near luxurious at all, but it's very comfortable to sit in. It's not easy to adjust the seats. I mean, it takes you a couple minutes to change 1 degree of the seating angle, but all in all, it's a very comfortable ride, and you have a lot of leg room no matter where you are in the car, whether it be a hatch or a sedan. I myself have a hatch. Now, I'm not going to speak my opinion of the hatch versus the sedan. Obviously, I like the hatch more because I own one. Why? There's really not many reasons. I just think this one, I just like the look of the hatchback. I also like the sedan, but that's a different story. It's a different YouTube video. Yeah, the comfortability of this car is awesome. The drivability of it is great. Okay, that's just awesome. This dude just cut in front of me without using any blinkers or anything like that. I love nice people. It's so sweet. You know, if people just just use their blinkers, I'll let you go. Like, I'm not a rude person. If you need to get over, I'll let you over. Anyways, off topic Evan. That should be my nickname, kind of. Okay, so back to the drivability, rideability. I love the transmission of this car. The synchros going into 4th gear are not my favorite. But that's only whenever I'm going race car mode and I'm pretty much power shifting through gears. It's actually a very smooth transition. I've driven smoother. It's not the best, but it's a very durable transmission. I've heard that it can literally take up to 700 horsepower, which I would never do on a street Subaru because that would kind of take the fun out of driving unless you're just always highway racing. But I love the gearbox. I love everything about this car. I mean, there's really not many aspects of this car to where you can dislike. Now, one thing people will tell you, one thing you'll notice if you sit in a Subaru or you test drive it, you know, you're gonna love it the first time you drive it. That's just about everybody. Whenever you test drive a Subaru, you're gonna love it. But the first thing you're gonna notice in pictures, first thing you're gonna notice whenever you're sitting in the car is the interior is very cheap looking. Which I absolutely hate to admit, but it is. It is very cheap interior. But here's the thing though, whenever my car is a race car and I'm building the motor, I really don't care what the layout of my air conditioning looks like. I rarely ever use it unless it's hot as balls outside like it is in Texas. Other than that, like, I really don't mind any of the layout. The head unit, very easily replaceable. I don't like the stereo in this car, but I can't really hear the radio over the exhaust that I have on the car anyways, but I don't listen to the radio much regardless. Normally, if it feels good enough outside, my windows are rolled down and I'm honestly listening to my exhaust, and I'm enjoying getting from point A to point B, which I think is one of the true things for a car enthusiast. You know, it's not just transportation, it's, you know, getting from point A to B and loving it at the same time. But that's one thing about the Subaru is at least the plastics on it are very cheap, and they look cheap. The thing is, they're very upgradable. They're actually very, I mean, if you want to customize them, I know a lot of people that stick felt on it. They'll also paint it. They're very easily paintable. One thing is, whenever you're servicing on a Subaru, it's very easy to take apart. That's one nice thing about not having a very luxurious looking car, is you don't have 1,000 pieces to take apart on your dash. This piece literally will literally just pop it right out of my dash, and you have access to most of the firewall. Same thing with my gauge bezel. It literally just pops right out. In fact, whenever I got aftermarket gauges with my wideband and my boost gauge, I literally just popped it out, and now I have a different bezel that slides right in there. And it's cheap plastic, just like the rest of the car. It doesn't look that cheap. One thing people, I don't know why, but a lot of people like to touch on the subject of the Subaru. Yeah, we'll touch on the subject of the Subaru. The people don't like the steering wheel. Now, granted, whenever you're switching lanes, stuff like that, it's not very responsive. The car itself is not very responsive. I will give it that. But the steering wheel is not that bad. It's kind of big. But the thing is, it's very replaceable as well. I mean, I know plenty of steering wheels that still have the steering wheel interface as far as volume control, stuff like that. There's plenty of them that actually just shrink in size. So I mean, if that's something that you're going to want to do, that's something you can do very, very easily. So I mean, I don't mind the steering wheel personally. I think it's great. I don't think it's any larger or smaller than it should. I mean, I think it's perfect for the car. It's very adjustable, and it's awesome. Now for the ride, I know I touched on this earlier. The suspension is not too bad. I mean, honestly, it feels like a normal car whenever you're driving from A to B. The only thing is you have a little bit more travel than normal as you would in, you know, like a Toyota or something like that. But then again, that's an economy car. This car, not so much. This car has it's set up for racing suspension. Okay, so let's see, driving. One thing, okay, talking about the cheapness of this car, and I know this is not a cheap car, but honestly, it's some of the interior is pretty cheap, like I was saying. But one thing I don't like is there's so many pieces in this car that can start rattling. I don't know if that's a common issue. I haven't really read much up on it. I don't know if it's a common issue, but I know there are tons of pieces place where I put my water and stuff like that, the bottom, I guess what the heck would you call it, the base of that's kind of actually not melted. I don't even know what happened, but it's just, it doesn't exist anymore. It just kind of dissolved into midair. But and then also there's things in the back that start to rattle every once in a while. There's things that shake whenever you downshift and it hits a certain RPM. So, and that's one thing that really, it irritates. It doesn't irritate me at all. But I know a lot of people who it would. Like, my dad is a real stickler for anything that rattles in his car. Anything that makes a noise, he pisses him off and he has to go fix it immediately. So, and like I said, I'm just telling you the truth about this car. A lot of people want to know how this is, and I'm just letting you guys know. Other than the downsides of this car, 90% of the time, this car puts a smile on my face. Even though how I drive it, meaning I drive it very, very, very softly. I drive it like a baby, but or I baby the car, I guess I should say. Car gets 20 miles a gallon the way I drive it. I drive it mostly in the city, a little bit on the, actually it's kind of mid. I have some classes 40 minutes away, so I kind of drive it both in the city and the highway. I get about 19.8 on average, which is 20 miles a gallon. Who cares? It takes 93 octane where I live. You can do 91. It just depends on the tune that you've got. Oh, that car just ran over the curb. Your wheel is like destroyed now. But yeah, I get 20-ish miles a gallon. I go through probably, it depends on how much I drive. I go through a decent amount of money in gas a week. I think my normal week I'm looking at, I don't know, $55 a week maybe in gas, which isn't too bad for a car that puts a smile on your face everywhere you go. Like I said, it gets you to point A to B, but it's fun. It's fun getting there. And it's also fun whenever you just want to go on a drive. Because the car is very responsive. Granted, Subarus, this car in particular, has pretty bad turbo lag, but whenever you drive it like it's supposed to, when you're like you're supposed to, it's very, very fun at the higher RPMs. Even at the lower stuff too, especially, you know, when you hear the turbo spooling and everything like that. Overall, I really love driving this car. It's fun everywhere I go, and I love the feel of the car. It grips the road. It's fun. It depends on what tires you get, obviously. It depends on your suspension setup. They're very, very moddable. Only thing is you got to get a tune after every dang mod, which gets expensive. But it's very fun to mod. Very expensive to mod, but very fun. If you want a car that's easily upgradable and very fun to drive, I highly recommend a Subaru. If you strictly want a race car, I'll go to the dark side. I'll tell you, get the Evo. Are you gonna go or not? Okay, there you go. But anyways, that's all. If you guys have any other questions or recommendations on the car itself, I'd be more than happy to answer it for you. Any other video recommendations? I'm trying my hardest, my absolute hardest, to get you guys the questions answered that you guys want. So, but seriously, if you guys have anything else that you want to ask, feel free to let me know. If there's something I didn't cover in this video that you would like to be covered, let me know as well. Thank you guys again for watching, and stay subscribed and keep up with me for next time.